Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such an amazing place to live, work, and play. I'm actually outside. I'm not in the studio today, and the reason why is because this area where we're located has lost Wi-Fi service, and it's not back up yet. So we're using cellular to do the show today, and we're going to make the best of it. We'll have a visit from Stewart Speed in the first part of the show, and then Mayor Fofo Gillich in the second part of the show. I'm looking forward to getting updates from both of them. One of the reasons why I'm excited about Stewart, who will be coming on here shortly, is that you've heard me talk about in great detail about the mixed-use development that is planned for Gulfport. You've heard in conversations with a number of people why this is so significant. I've done shows about why walkable communities, about mixed use, by increasing density in the downtown areas, is so important. We have talked in great detail about the new economy and that we can't look to a particular industry or a relocation of a business or something like gaming to come and diversify coastal Mississippi's landscape. What it's going to take is us tapping into people who are part of the new economy. And the way you do that is you build places where they want to come, where they want to live, where they want to live, work, and play. That is the new phenomenon. Coastal Mississippi is now the most affordable beach community in the United States. And I know that there are inflationary pressures. There's fear of recession. There's all these issues that are sort of looming out there. But the opportunity for coastal Mississippi has never been greater. And as I mentioned, my son Jordan, who is a real estate lawyer, says that he continues to be blown away by the number of people who are coming to coastal Mississippi from outside this area. It's no big surprise that people are moving away from New York and California and places like that. So what is planned for downtown Gulfport is incredibly important to this overall conversation. It is a transformative project, and we've had an entire show focused on it before. And I'm excited to have my friend Stewart Speed from Leaf River. He's a major developer. He's done projects all over the United States. He's had a number of iterations of businesses along the way. But what's important is that he is from the Jackson area, and that he's going to make a substantial investment in coastal Mississippi. And I'm glad to have you back, Stewart, to get an update. How you doing, my friend?
Doing fine, Ricky. Doing fine. Glad to be with you.
Sorry we're having technical problems today, but the conversation with you is too important not to go on with the show. So like Kyle and I normally do, we make adjustments, and here we are. So I see you're in your car as well. Where are you located as we speak?
Jackson, Mississippi. It's a beautiful day here today.
Good. Well, look, the last time we talked, you guys had worked with architects and planners and developed what will be a transformative project for coastal Mississippi, not just Gulfport. What's the latest?
Yeah, so the latest is we are really pushing ahead to get this thing off the ground. We had a good outcome in the recent legislative session, and we've got the kind of the funding pulled together to make it happen now. So we're full steam ahead with architects, engineers to get the product fully designed and the project fully designed, and with an eye toward starting site work around year end this year. We're moving ahead. We had to see what the legislature was going to do in terms of the Gulf Coast Recovery Funds this year. This was the second cycle we've been to the legislature, and happy to report that we got a lot of support from the Coast delegation in both chambers, as well as the legislative leadership, and we got it done. I think it just took a couple of cycles to kind of get the message across that this was a transformative project that they needed to get behind, and then also we took some feedback from the last cycle and modified some things. We scaled the project back a little bit, but it's still very significant in terms of quantity and dollar investment and the whole 9 yards. And then we did align ourselves with the Gulfport Redevelopment Commission, GRC, for the public parking piece. And so they will own, at the end of the day, 264 public parking spaces, and that, much needed in downtown Gulfport. But yeah, Ricky, it's since we talked last, a lot of good things have happened on this, and we can't wait to get it going.
Well, I'm excited about it. It hits on a lot of cylinders. Strategically, it's important because, as you know, the Gulf Coast Business Council had commissioned a planning process that's now about three or 4 years old now. And one of the major opportunities that it identified is the fact that we need to really start to focus on remote workers and people who can live anywhere, who want to live in an affordable beach community, and this being that, and really attach ourselves to the opportunities we have around the new economy. And this project, there's been a lot of mixed-use discussions. There have been some mixed-use being built in Pascagoula and Ocean Springs. There's some underway in Biloxi. It really is important that we begin to increase density downtown, but that's what's going to bring life to downtown. That's what communities like Austin and Chattanooga and others have done to be incredibly successful, and their ability to attract the kind of people that we're trying to attract, higher paying jobs, people who again want to live, work, and play in a similar area. This is why I've worked so hard to try to help people think hard about the Coast Restoration Fund, the BP money, that we help use portions of that money to offset projects, to make projects that would not otherwise be financially viable, to help make them viable. And this is not taxpayer money. This is money that's been put into a fund by BP as a result of the oil spill. And we have an opportunity now to do transformational things. If you read the bill very clearly points out that we want projects that can pay back for many years to come. When you fund a municipal building, municipal buildings need to get built, but there's not going to be a payback for funding a municipal building. Where there's going to be payback is when you fund projects that have strategic imperatives, like this project has. So when you're talking to people about this project, Stewart, how do you describe it?
Yeah, so we describe it as an opportunity to enhance quality of place on the coast, to address a lot of the things you just mentioned. Essentially, this is an opportunity to enhance the human capital retention and recruitment for the coast. And as you say, the younger generation particularly looks for that walkable urban experience, and we can now provide that in downtown Gulfport. And in this recent round of GCRF funding, there were several other projects that got funding that are similar in nature too, which speaks to the desirability of it, the popularity of this kind of product. Downtown mixed use. It's not just happening in Gulfport. And so our project will be the largest one in scale on the coast, and we think it's going to make a major impact. So we landed at, I think we're at 204 apartment units, 10,000 square feet of retail, 264 public parking spaces. We're in talks with an exciting restaurant opportunity for the ground level retail. We're also going to have a bar at the top level of the building, looking at the beach and the coast and the port, the marina, Jones Park. It's going to be fantastic. It'll be the neatest, rooftop bar type situation on the coast, in my opinion. And so we're providing exactly what, in 2022, 2024, I guess when we toward the end of 23, when we finish, what the market's calling for. And with remote working, as you say, and the coast being the most affordable beach community in the country, the timing couldn't be better, Ricky, to deliver something like this to the Gulf Coast. And so I think it's gonna give it a whole new energy level when you drive down Beach Boulevard, Highway 90, and you see this significant structure there with 350 people living in it. And we hope we'll be able to do a phase 2, by the way, to expand bigger. So, stay tuned on that. But anyway, we describe it as right time, right place, and what in this new economy, what the Mississippi Gulf Coast needs. So we're, it's coming together. Nothing like a plan coming together.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it took some time to get everyone aligned around what this really is all about. And again, I don't care if I'm talking with people from Mississippi State who specialize in entrepreneurship and they talk about the new economy from their perspective, or whether I'm talking with Ashley Edwards from the Business Council and how he talks about it, or whether I'm talking to Paige Roberts from Pascagoula and what she says about it. I mean, literally, it comes up in every conversation. And one of the things that I've tried to do with Coast Vue is speak to how so many investors in coastal Mississippi are beginning to get their arms around what this opportunity looks like. And the truth is, we don't have a lot of people who have the funds or able to raise the funds to do projects like this. And when we find a group that's willing to do it, we should bend over backwards to help them. And you've got a great track record, Stewart. Why don't you give people just a bit of a look into your track record? Okay. Hey, why don't we do this? We're as we explained at the beginning of the show, I'm talking with Stewart Speed. He's going to make a substantial investment in Downtown Gulfport. We have Wi-Fi issues, so I'm literally outside. We're working off a cellular service. Kyle and I have learned to roll with the punches, and that's what we're doing today. This conversation was too important to just let it go by. So when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Stewart Speed. Welcome back to Coast Vue. We're winging it today. We had a huge Wi-Fi issue in the area where my studio is located for Coast Vue. Kyle's at his house. He's got good Wi-Fi, but we're having to use cellular service to do the show. But as I said, we roll with the punches on Coast Vue. We do what we got to do to keep it moving. So we have the pleasure of being joined today by Stewart Speed, who's a major developer, someone who's about to, with his partners, invest very significantly in coastal Mississippi. And when we went to break, Stewart, we were talking about how I wanted to give them, let the listeners have a sense of the kind of projects that you've been involved in around the U.S.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in real estate my entire career. My dad, Leland Speed, who you know or knew, was in public company real estate, and that's kind of where I started. As you said, more of a national footprint kind of business. East Group Properties, industrial REIT. My dad founded in Jackson, and worked with him for a while, and then of course he went on to be MDA director under Haley Barber right around Katrina time, and so he had a major interest in the coast and what was happening post Katrina, and so we know he's no longer with us, but he is smiling over this progress that we're talking about, I can assure you. But anyway, so I started kind of in the REIT world, spent quality time there and with some other national kind of players in real estate, GE Capital and Cushman and Wakefield, and past stops, and then kind of gravitated to more of the kind of regional private development model in recent years. And so most recently done very similar projects in both Jackson and Mobile, kind of the urban mixed use mid-rise project with structured parking. Both of those have been very successful, I'm happy to report, and transformative. And we've done other projects too. We're doing other apartments, garden style, and then also some warehouses. And really kind of picking up on something you said earlier, a lot of my business, I'm active in the Jackson area, but a lot of the business is kind of gravitated toward the I-10 Gulf Coast corridor. So currently active in Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida along I-10. And so it's amazing, particularly post-Katrina, there's this big surge of movement to the coast, and we don't see it slowing down at this juncture. So as you also alluded to, we're all watching the macro forces of inflation, interest rates, potential recession, all those good things. But things continue at the moment to move in the right direction. So anyway, yeah. So, but as you also mentioned, we've got a wonderful team on this project. I've got excellent Gulfport partners, and we've got all the right consultants and third parties involved. And so we're hoping that this project will be a poster child for how the public and private sectors can work together in this GCRF funding arena. And if we do our job, we hope that everyone involved, legislators, local officials, and the city of Gulfport's been very supportive, as you know, by the way, and we appreciate their help and participation. But we hope that everybody can look at this and go, all right, here's how to do it right. Now this is what we need more of. So that's the plan. We're hoping to be a good example for moving forward. So anyway,
so one of your major partners will be Roy Anderson and his Amdicor Corporation. Roy's been down this road a few times before, helping reinvent the coast, and it only seems appropriate that he be involved in a project of this scale. Absolutely.
No, couldn't ask for a better partner and a more appropriate participant in something like this. So I'm glad to be aligned with Roy and Rick Carter on this one. So we got the right group to make this happen. It's a heavy lift. It's a mid $50 million kind of investment. We're still kind of tweaking the budget and the plan, but it's a major investment.
I can't, you mentioned your dad, and we had this conversation before, but as you know, I had the opportunity to work closely with him during the aftermath of Katrina, and he was such an important player to us. And I've said this before, but I think it's worth mentioning it again. When we had Andreas Dwani, the father of new urbanism, who led the charrettes, the sort of architectural and city planning efforts for each of the cities that were destroyed by Hurricane Katrina in just a few short weeks after Hurricane Katrina. Andreas, when he went down Highway 49 and met Highway 90, he looked out over this damaged port and he said that this is the crown jewel for the coast. It's not that Biloxi had this important role. All these cities had their important roles, and the way they connect together was really important. But he observed about the port, it's the way the port connected to 49 and 25th Avenue and Highway 90 and the small craft harbor and all these critical pieces that we all now know as critical pieces to what is now this emerging blue economy and this opportunity for us there. It's just fitting that this nearly or maybe exceeding $50 million development, mixed use development for Gulfport would be located at that intersection. And you're right, your dad would probably be incredibly proud to see that your evolution, your commitment to go where, as you pointed out, the action is, and it happens to be on the Mississippi Gulf Coast now. He'd be very proud to see that this is a sort of a developing characteristic of your company, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, no question. It's sometimes these things take time, right? Just like the Katrina recovery. I know it's taken more time than anyone wanted or thought, but it's finally coming around. And yeah, this location is just perfect for what we're doing. And yeah, he would be really pleased to see that this kind of thing is happening now. So it's good. It's quality, and it's taking a little while, but we think it'll be worth the wait. That our project and others that are kind of in the pipeline.
So Stewart, talk to us a little bit about, as you see it today, the timeline.
Yeah, so we've got several months of design and engineering to tackle, and then we can break ground again, as I said, hopefully around year end. And the construction cycle is is almost 2 years, probably just shy of that. So break ground, call it January 23, and then late 24. You're kind of wrapping this thing up, and it takes several months to lease a project like this. So 8 to 18 months, something like that. But anyway, I think when we get to late 24, you'll have a completed project and a number of new downtown residents, and the number probably starts at 350 and kind of goes up from there if we're able to expand the project with a phase 2. So
yeah, that's exciting. By that time, we'll have Mayor Fofo Gillich coming up in the second half, and we'll get an update from him about what's happening in downtown Biloxi. But when you look at the availability of land in downtown Gulfport, it's virtually not available, and it's all been sort of taken up. You've got mixed use that's been built, more that's coming. You add it all up. I mean, Coast of Mississippi is on fire with the reality of what we said at the very beginning, and that is taking advantage of the fact that we're the most affordable beach community in the United States, and people who have an option now. And I would say we talked about this before the pandemic, Stewart. We talked about this before the pandemic being an opportunity that people who are part of the new economy can choose where they want to live. But the pandemic put that on steroids. And so for you as a developer, it's got to be a delicate balancing act between sort of these recessionary and inflationary pressures and the opportunity strategically to take advantage of the opportunities created somewhat before the pandemic, put on steroids after the pandemic, to find the balance between getting moving and also finding some sort of the affordable sweet spot to do a construction of this site. It's got to drive you a little bit crazy that this moment in time is such a delicate balancing act.
No, you're exactly right. It hasn't gotten any easier. It's a complicated process to begin with, but now it's even trickier with all the forces you're talking about, because you've got to get investors, lender, public officials, everybody on the same page, and you're kind of threading the needle, in terms of the financial underwriting and viability. And so it's not for the faint of heart, but that's why we're here. We're gonna keep going, just like your technical issues this morning. We're gonna persevere. We're gonna get it done one way or another. But it's a challenge.
Yeah, I think what, as you sort of look at the construction side of the lay of the land, you start to see at least some settling down of some of the supply chain issues, lumber and other issues. By the time you start construction, hopefully there'll be a lot more clarity in that realm. I'm sure that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah, absolutely. Today's picture it is not what it'll be. You can be sure it'll change somewhat by the time you actually have to sign contracts, buy materials, so forth, close a loan, etc. So you've got what you see right this moment is probably not what you're going to see 6 and 12 months from now.
I got you. Hey, Kyle, let me check in with you real quick and on the time. Okay, very good. Stewart, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you, man. Thank you so much for your commitment to Coast of Mississippi. Congratulations on aligning all the stars so that we can really do an amazingly good project for Coast of Mississippi, not just Gulfport. Good luck to you, and we'll look forward to staying in touch with you.
Thank you, Ricky. Enjoyed catching up.
All right. You bet. This has been Stewart Speed, and it has been a pleasure. When we come back, we'll have Fofo Gillich